Minions have spawned.
There will be nothing left of you.
For love.
Time for a strength test. Behold your extinction.
Love, find your mark. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Slow down.
Not fair.
Engage the clusters. Don't even try to run.
Excellent. Here you go. Over here.
I'm on it.
The storm strikes.
For love.
There'll be nothing. Engage the clusters. Storm strikes.
Here you go.
Over here.
Love, find your...
one is full of stuffing.
You should make haste.
Slow down.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Killing spree!
Alligator. Here you go.
Tail slow
Rampage!
down. The storm strikes. Slow down.
You still talking?
Time for
Slow down.
Look out below.
Killing spree!
In this life or the next.
Yeah!
Come here.
take this.
Unstoppable!
There'll be nothing left.
Still
What
not
are you
funny.
doing here, Manny?
I heard you could use a hand.
I hate you.
Find your mark.
Come here.
Still not funny. Not if one is full of stuffing.
Slow down.
Oh, that is it.
Forgive me, Lord Shiva.
Where you going, piggyback?
Rampage!
Behold your extinction. Engagement.
Alrighty, guys, I'll be casting this prospect game. So it looks like we got Looney Tunes on Hera. We got, oop, different screen now. We got Tanky Tactics on the Zhonghui. We got Rome on the Kronos. We got the Alpha Drop on the Wheelix. And we got the Prime Project on Kumba. And then we look at Red Team. We got Nugs and Jugs on whatever god that is, because I cannot even see it. And we got Garments on Hunbats. Pure Paxi on Cupid. Venus Guardian on Jormungandr. And Eurytyrus on Geb. Oh, that would be... It's a Rajan. There we go. Nugs and Jugs is on the Rajan. Alright, so look at the starting builds. So if I'm looking at the comps right now, I'm going to have to definitely give it to Red Team just because of the Hunbats, Geb, and the Jormungandr. Jormungandr is going to cause so much disruption in the back line against this Hera. And I don't think this Hera is going to be able to actually cast safely without being dove by this Jormungandr. At least that's the way I see it. If I'm Jormungandr, I want to make sure this Hera is not doing anything to our back line. I'm going to make sure that she's having the hardest time possible to cast her abilities. And the Hunbats alone can really just zone out the Wheelix, Hera, and the Zhonghui. He just has such more zoning potential against that team. They don't really have any CC immunity in their kits, unlike Kumakarna and Kronos. So them actually getting their abilities off against the Hunbats is going to be really difficult if he knows how to really apply CC. I would say the one thing that blue team does have going for them is their definitely their tower defense. They have a Hera and a Zhonghui, probably one of the most scariest gods in the game when it comes to sieging. So playing on defense for them is probably the way that they're going to win the game, honestly. But the only thing that's really going to actually help them not lose their camps in the early game is going to be this Wheelix. If she's on top of her camp timers, it's going to be a easier transition into the late game for blue team. But we'll see how this goes. Let's go look at the duo lane right now. I would imagine that the Kumba and the Kronos will probably outtrade this Cupid and this Geb. Geb and Cupid not really having the best lane clear. Kuma has a really good poke ability, level 1. So him being able to zone out the Cupid and the Geb really is not going to be hard for him. Kronos is pretty even in terms of clear with Cupid. I would say he even has better clear than Cupid because of the 1 cooldown. It's only a 7-second cooldown, so he can literally cast that while Cupid's literally on a 13-second cooldown. It's pretty much a 9-day in terms of how much they can cast their abilities early. Oh, we can look at mid lane. Looks like junglers are just doing their respective red buffs. So far, very slow early game. You kind of expect this a lot from new players coming in the scene. They're not really familiar with each other, so playing around each other is going to be a little bit awkward at first. So you can definitely see players playing it a little bit more safe than what you see in our playoff games. I'm going to try to be doing my best to make sure we're keeping up with builds here. Fortunately, since the Smite Spectre UI is terrible on Xbox, I'm not going to show it too much because it's kind of an eyesore, if you ask me. Looks like no invades going to be happening. Pretty much even pressure across the board. Small gold advantage in terms of red team. It looks like they did get both the mid camps, which gave them a little bit of favor going in this early game. Looks like Kuma's getting a little bit poked out right off the bat. Cupid did land the stun. That looks like he's going to land that slow on Kumba. He's looking pretty low. We'll see how many pots he has left. And looks like he has no pots left, so right now he's in a really awkward spot. And meanwhile, in mid lane, Looney Tunes solos Nugs and Jugs, free first blood for Hera. That's huge. If I'm Hera and I'm hitting for level 5 before anyone else in the game, this is definitely a power play. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't know the enemy's red timer. Looks like he's actually just going to back. If I were this Hera, I would have invaded that, but it definitely would have been a risky call because it looks like Cupid and the Geb are nearby, so they definitely would have caught her out if they thought to rotate. Right now, Rajan's falling a little bit behind, still level 4, so he can't really do anything right now besides watch Wilkes kind of clear wave. Left's camps are up, and so is both red buffs, so it looks like Blue's going to go back to their red buff. They will be triple splitting this, which is not ideal, but splitting is not that bad in the 3v3. Anything that's above 3 players, though, I would never do. 4-man splitting is probably the worst thing in the game. If you have to, you can triple split. It's much more recommended to just double split than anything else. But triple splitting is not the end of the world for sure. I would not be triple splitting that often though, as it can put your team behind. Oh my goodness, every single time. And we got another kill in mid lane. Nugs and Jugs returns the favor, avenges himself, kills the Hera. I don't even know how he even did that. Good job by Nugs and Jugs to get that return kill. Second blood being one of the most, the second most important kill in the game. It looks like duo lane wants to get some poke on blue team here. Fortunately, they are just going to only be able to zone them from the farm a little bit. But unfortunately, they won't be able to zone them efficiently enough. They are both level 5 here. Kuma is not level 5, so this could be a good play for red team to really put pressure on them, make sure that Kuma can't hit level 5. They could probably pick away this Chronos or even get his ult if Geblet's a good ultimate. It looks like Chronos actually lands a double stun. That's a huge play from, oh my goodness, and Geb actually misses the ult, and Cupid misses the stun on the ultimate. Bad misplay from both players. And then meanwhile, in the mid lane, Nugs and Jugs picks up Hera once again. It looks like, without even the help of his Hunbats, Wilkes was actually in mid lane as well, so crazy how he gets that in a 1v2 scenario.
Check out this boomstick.
And Gab looking really low. Kumba is level 5, and both Cronus and Kumba have ultimates, so Gab staying here is actually pretty detrimental. He has to be careful, but he does have Cupid Hearts to keep him a little bit more healthy, just in case anything goes wrong. It looks like Wilkes is peeking around the corner, though, looking like she wants this Geb really bad. And she does. Looks like the teammates are calling out that he's backing right there. Does she notice? Does she notice? Unfortunately not. She looks like she's going to go to the wall instead. And she will pick up the kill, though. Jump on the wall with a feather step, and she gets the kill. Nice cleanup from Wilkes. Nice and clean. Really good call-outs from the duo lane there. You saw that they were picking out the Geb positioning. And then actually, if you go to solo lane, looks like it's a big battle. Both the monsters here. Looks like they're both out training each other, but it looks like John Quay's going to win the trade overall. And Hera is actually here. I don't know if the mid lane actually called this, but she's looking to gank this Jormungandr. If she lands her ultimate and lands a polymorph, she might be able to kill. And he's actually almost dead. And John Quay cleans up the kill with his 2 ability. Very nice job from the Hera rotating to that Jormungandr to get a free kill for a solo lane. That's really going to help the Zhong Kui, and it's really going to hurt the Jormungandr. Looks like the Hunbats is here by himself, and it seems like they might actually catch him out here. He's going to get the stun off, but won't be able to get anything else out of it. So it looks like blue team are going to be able to zone away red team from the invade. Let's take a look at the builds real quick. Pretty standard stuff so far. Looks like Cupid's going to go into Trans. Very smart. Trans probably one of the best items on Cupid. Pretty standard starts on the supports. Both are going into the Gauntlet. Looks like Geb is actually going to rush it, which is really smart by him. Guma's playing a little bit more defensive. You want to get the Reinforced Greaves. He definitely wants that CCR and the health early on, so he's not going to get CC chained by the Cupid. Yep. Looks like Hunbats might be going into a Brawler, so he could be going to Jotuns. Could be going to a Crusher. We'll find out once his next back is. Wilkes might be going straight into Trans, or even Hydra's. We'll have to find out when she backs next. Jormungandr actually going to a Pesty. Very interesting decision going rushing Pesty right off the bat. Normally, the healing from Zhonghui is not that potent early, so rushing Pestilence right off the bat. Honestly, not the best moves. I would rather get an Ansai or even a Runic Shield just to stop the power spikes from Zhonghui. And a lot of ultimates trade out in the mid lane. Nugs and Jugs looking really low right now. Had to use his ultimate and his beads just to get out of there. So his beads are going to be down for a minute and 20 seconds. No, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, my bad. So that is going to be a free kill for Hera and Kuma to really put pressure on. Looks like Alpha wants to look for something here, but looks like he just wants to get some farm. He has a big back for him, probably. He is sitting on 2,300 gold, so that is a free trans once he gets the speed buff. A trans being 2,400 gold after you get the tier 1 trans. So this will be a good back for him to get probably trans, in my opinion, because with this much gold, you might as well. No reason to get Hydra's first item. Rather get the power spike and get trans and start stacking early on. And then you could probably, if you're ahead, get Hydra's after, maybe even Crusher, if you feel like you need the pen and the attack speed instead. And then get the Hydra's after the after the Crusher, I mean. Looks like there's going to be a fight contesting these mid camps. Fortunately, red team wasn't there in time, and Polymorph coming out, getting some good poke on the Rajan. Good job from blue team, getting both the mids and poke. That is a win. So right now, it's going to play a little bit slower. Teams are, I wouldn't say playing scared, but they're playing safe. They want to do anything crazy just yet. Just kind of playing off their ultimates a little bit. It looks like Hunbat's actually going to blink in after Alpha, trying to get a good ultimate off, and Hunbat's barely misses the Arcus drop, almost gets blown up. But meanwhile, Rajan's blowing up Alpha, and Alpha actually feather steps over the Rajan, cleaning up the Geb with help with Looney Tunes, and now Cupid actually rotates to clean up the Hera, who is already low HP. But now Nugs and Jugs and Hunbats are actually in a really bad spot here. Gamer landing a beautiful knockup and a beautiful feather step to clean up this fight. Can he get a triple? Can he get even more? 4 kills for the Wheelix so far. If he does, and he will be able to land the feather step and a good cleanup for Alpha. Insane plays from the Wheelix. Now this should be a free gold free for blue team. Kronos and the Wheelix are going to pull this together. Kuma is coming right behind him. And this is going to give them a considerable lead. If we take a look at the graphs, right after they get this gold free, straight shot up, 3,000 experience lead for blue team and almost a 3k gold difference for blue team. This is when you really want to start pushing the pressure down the other team's throats. You want to start like forcing fights around objectives. You want to start going for those tier 1 towers. You want to put red team in a spot they don't want to be in. You want to force those fights. So they have to either give up everything or die fighting for it. Right now, if I'm red team, I'm trying to take as much farm off the map as possible safely without putting myself out of position. So those neutral camps are more important than they ever been before. Whoever controls these neutral camps from now on is going to control the game. Looks like Hunbats does have eyes on the Wheelix, but Wheelix does have the feather steps, doing a half health the Hunbats. Unfortunately, Alpha misses the ultimate, but no worries, he still has beads, and he's gonna just auto attack his way out of that situation. Easy cleanup for the Wheelix. My. Even though he missed the ultimate on the Wheelix, it didn't matter because the auto attacks along with the trans is just too much for Hunbats to handle along with the lower lead. And now Hera looks like she's in a bad spot. She's getting taunted by the Rajan, but no, the polymorph was enough for her to set up for her 1 and her ultimate. Big turnaround for the Hera play right there. What a great turnaround. And now it looks like blue team want this Pyromancer. They know the Rajan is down. The Hunbats just spawned. So the only one who can really contest this is the Geb. He does have ultimate. Actually, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have ultimate. Jormungandr is here, though. He will clean up the Hera. And now it looks like Kuma's actually in a bad spot here. And Jormungandr will actually be able to zone away all of blue to get off that Pyromancer. Really big play by Yorm. If he didn't show up there, that would have been a lost Pyro, and Blue would have really solidified their lead in the early game. So if you go back to the builds here, it looks like Wilkes will be going into that Crusher. Like I said, she wants that attack speed to apply that Hydras that she's probably going to pick up later. Looks like Hunbats is going to go for a more of a cooldown build, I should say. He is going to go into the Trans. Not the biggest fan of that, considering he is a little bit behind the Wilkes. So getting those stacks online with blue members in your jungle is going to be a little bit difficult for him to pull off. But I wouldn't mind to see him try. Looks like Yorm and Jean-Claude are having a little boxing match over here. And Wilkes is here to help try to clean up this Jormungandr, and he's actually going to fall here. And meanwhile, Hunbats actually rotates to try to kill this Wilkes and this Jean-Claude, but he tower dives to the kill. And oh my goodness, how much health does she have? Unfortunately, we couldn't see her health bar in time, but it looked like she had less than 20 HP there. Hunbats got really greedy trying to get that kill on her tower. I'm not sure why he jumped under the tower. I don't think he can really tank a Jean-Claude Wilkes and a tier 1 tower by himself. Really unfortunate. Looks like it's going to be a 4K lead for blue team in terms of gold. Take a look at the graphs. Oh, actually, in mid lane, Wilkes blinks in on the Raijin, gets the beads off, and gets his ultimate out for free. Geb, almost 1 HP, has to roll out of there, and Looney Tunes cleans up the Raijin, no problem. Should be a tier 1 middle tower for blue team. Cupid's actually here for the rotation. Has to dash out so he doesn't get knocked up by the Wilkes. Doesn't want to get ulted. He does have beads in the worst case scenario. And trying to navigate this UI is like trying to find the Da Vinci Code or something, man. I think I should make a movie out of this. It looks like a Wilkes section and gank the dual lane. She's gonna try to gank this Cupid. Cupid has to use the ult, but it's not enough. Wilkes uses her beads, so doesn't get stunned at her tower. Gets an easy cleanup on the Cupid and gets his beads for free and ultimate. Should be a tier 1 tower, but no, Geb's here to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, blue team's gonna be setting up for Gold Fury. This will be an Oni Fury. So what Oni Fury does is it spawns minions. They have increased health. And so they're pretty tanky. Trying to kill them by yourself early is going to be rather difficult. So you probably need 2 members to really clear those minions. So getting this gold free early is going to be really huge for blue team. It helps them zone away a lot of the pressure they would get from sieging or get pressure on Fire Giant. So I think there's going to be a big fight out here in mid. Geb trying to get a rollout on the Hera, but unfortunately doesn't land anything. But meanwhile, in the background, Pumbaa is able to solo Nugs and Jugs, picks them all for free. Now Jean-Claude's here with a big ultimate. Yorm's ulting in as well, trying to get this Hera. This Hera is literally 1 HP. Unmet's able to clean up with his ultimate Fear No Evil, coming in clutch right now. Cupid's here for the rotation though, doing some big damage on the Cupid. Now Jormungandr though is looking for a kill on this Pumbaa. He might be able to get out. He should be fine. He does have his meds available and his root. Looks like he's going to try to root aggressively here to help his team a little bit. Won't be able to get anything off there, and this looks like it's going to be a stare off now in mid lane. Red team is in a favorable position here. They might be able to get this tier 1 tower in mid. They could go for Pyromancer. Looks like Hunbats is trying to look for something on the right side jungle here. And looks like Cupid actually is going to ult in aggressively, trying to get all this Kumba. And they will get the Kumba passive and the kill on Kumba. Huge pickup for red team. Now they're going to push their lead even more. They're probably going to go to Gold Fury now. Gold Fury is still available. This is going to put red team back in the game. If you take a look at the graphs, it's still in favor of blue team, but after that Gold Fury, gold is not going to be much of an issue. It looks like blue team don't want them to have this. Jean-Claude though still hasn't backed. below half HP, only has 700 health. That's literally 2 abilities, and he's dead. He has used Aegis, but he's still dead. There's no way he gets out of this. And Hunbats does secure the jump. Very strange call from Jonqui to stick around there. Didn't back it like when he was being pressured out in the tier 2 mid tower. Very strange call from Jonqui. He had time to back. He definitely should have chosen the time to back there. He could have gotten the goal for a back in time if he was more efficient about it. And Wheelix took up the unstoppable 7-0 for Wheelix. She's really popping off this game. She has some favorable matchups right now. She can pull the Raijin and the Hunbats. Raijin's a little bit harder to pull, obviously, than the Hunbats jump. But still some favorable matchups. She can dodge a lot of Cupid's damage. She can really just feather step over any of Yorm's damage. The one thing that she really has to worry about is this Geb. Unfortunately, he's been zoned away by the Kumba this entire time. Hasn't been able to get a good Cataclysm off the entire game. Really unfortunate for a red team. The comp is not really executing it the way they want it. The Hunbats is doing a good job ulting the kills he needs. There's just not enough follow-up damage. Nux and Jokes is being focused a lot in these early fights, and you see that he's being picked off a lot. If you look at his KDA, he died 5 times already. I mean, if you look at Hera, she's also died 5 times, but she's at least getting off her damage in time before they even kill her. Nux and Jug's not the same story. He's just getting picked a lot. Even with his beats up, he gets picked. It's just because of poor positioning. The Wheelix is punishing him a lot, and so is the Zhongqi, and so is the Kumba, and you really don't want to be out of position against those 3 gods specifically. It looks like Hunbats is here to actually get on the Hera, but Hera still has all available, but it's not enough because Hunbats just does so much damage with the Trance and the Jotuns. Just doesn't matter. Hera actually wastes her ultimate and her beads. Unfortunate for blue team there, but a great pickup for red. Now they know when she responds back that's a free kill if they just CC chain her. Looks like red team do want to get this tier 1 tower on right. Looks like they're actually kind of afraid of the CC from blue team, even though it's a favorable matchup for them, because Nugs and Jugs is not in the fight yet. And looks like they do notice the Hunbats here. Wilkes might be going for this kill. They actually changed target to Raijin. Raijin jumps out, so he will be fine. But now the Geb's in a really bad position here. Gets ulted by the Wheelix beezing the slow to get out of there. And now blue team are in a good spot because now they're going to pick up the Cupid as well. This is not looking good for red. They had the game in the bag almost, and then now blue team just turned it right back around once again, and looks like Raijin's about to jump away from the Wheelix who blinked after him, and this is going to be a tier 2 tower on left side for blue team. Yeah, 7,500 almost in experience. Not looking so good. Not looking so good. If you actually take a look at the levels, Hunbats is actually even with his counterpart, the Wheelix. Looks like Solo's even as well, 18-18 cross. The level lead though is on the Chronos against the Cupid, 2 level lead on that. And the Hera is 2 levels on this Raijin. So a lot of your big damage, very underleveled. Really unfortunate for red team. So it looks like they're being out damaged from the carries just alone. And then meanwhile, Geb is a level and a half down from his Kumba. So he's not as tanky. He has the Geb shield available, so it helps a lot in those fights. But it's just not enough because this Kumba just has so much pressure. He can just CC, he can stun, he can do all kinds of stuff that will cause harassment like he's doing right now against his Geb, who can only Cataclysm just to get out. And then the carries just get dove by the Chronos for free because Geb's just getting focused so hard, and he still can't do anything. The stuns are too much. He has to use the Geb shield just to immune to CC, and actually, Wheelix does land the knockup and secures the kill. And then another fight's actually happening in Soul Lane. Looney Tunes cleans up a kill on the Zhongqi. Very nice job from blue team. Oh, my mistake. It was the Hunbats. And now this is gonna be a fire giant call from blue team. This is a very important part of the game right now for blue. This is their time to get all the tier 2 towers off the map and go for a Phoenix. So you're looking at the gold here. Yeah, this is definitely the time to back. So, spend that almost 3K gold. Probably gonna pick up a divine. She's probably gonna go into. She's going to a Spear of Deso. Really weird call. Probably would have went for just another power item if that was your choice. Um, Staff of Mirrodin is up for the cooldown. Soul Reaver. Ethereal Staff. I mean, there's just so many better options instead of that Spear of Deso. Spear of Deso being like a second, third item choice. IMO, in my opinion. Um, I I would rather even have an op shard there than a Spear of Deso. Actually, look at the build from Rajan. He actually skipped the Spear of Magus and went straight into op shard. Really weird call, considering the protections of this tank right now. So if you actually look at the protections from Kumba, he only has 200 and then 179 magical. So that op chart isn't really even getting the full benefit, not even half the benefit of the actual passive because it starts at 200. So him getting that op chart is actually hurting him more than helping. Spear Magus would have been such a better option. Applying those ticks on Wheelix so she can't blink and on Kumba is just so much more important. He definitely could have gotten the op shard after the ethereal. Really strange pickup. This is really hurting him now in this spot because he's already behind. He's trying to build in more damage, but he can't because he just doesn't have enough damage to get the kills he needs for his team. Looks like blue team is gonna try to fight over this tier 2 tower. Heimbats actually gets interrupted on the blink, tries to ult, but gets interrupted by the Hera Arcus. And now this is gonna be looking like a good fight for blue. But Kuma actually went down in his passive, but it's no problem. He's just gonna get straight back up. And someone actually blinked after him in the back line. And this is a chaotic fight. Now this is all kinds of mess going on. Jean-Qui and Kronos to be able to get a kill there. Cupid almost gets one-shotted by the Hera. Polymorph missing its mark. Hera's in a really bad spot now, having to Aegis the Hunbats, but it's not enough because the slow secures the auto attack on the Hunbats. And now Hunbats is looking for more. Gets a double kill on the tanks and gets a triple kill. He wants more, but he won't be able to outtrade the Kronos, unfortunately. Kronos doing too much damage, also full HP. Really good pickup though from the Hunbats. Able to get 3 kills, defended the tier 2 tower, so blue team won't be able to get that gold or experience for them. So this is really like it's a pretty good counter defense from red. This might be able to go for a gold fury now. Yorm can come with this Cupid and they can pull his gold fury. All blue won't be up in time to stop this from happening. Yorm isn't actually grouped with his Cupid just yet, but looks like Kronos isn't aware, but he is now. He's looking to try to steal this away or even get a kill on someone here. And he's actually going to get zoned out by the Jormungandr. Looks like this gold fury is going to go to the way of red team. Kronos not being able to do a single thing about it. Cupid ults for the secure. Kronos not being able to get close enough to use his one ability to secure the steal. And that's going to be a gold fury, primal gold fury for red team. If I'm red team, I would be cheering because primals are so good for contesting objectives. Each Primal Fury gives you 7% extra damage towards those jungle bosses. So you get extra damage towards that Fire Giant, towards that Pyromancer, towards those jungle camps. Really huge if you want to contest objectives later in the game. And it stacks 3 times, so they can stack that to 21%. They can really out-pressure blue team in these objective fights, even though they're behind. Because if you look at the graphs, still in favor of blue team, even after that gold free. Not as much as it was before. That fight in mid did cost them a few K in gold and experience, so it's quite unfortunate that they did lose that fight. If I'm blue, I'm really just trying to shake myself up, trying to reset, and just trying to put the pressure that we were doing before. You know, go after that Rajan, who's always out position. Pressure out that Jormungandr, who's diving our backline. Jormungandr is getting a lot of damage off in these fights. If we're able to look at the damage numbers, I actually don't know how to pull up damage. Unfortunate. Oh, there we go. Look at the damage numbers. Hera is leading her team by an immense amount, followed by Hunbats, and followed by Jean-Qui, followed by Jormungandr, and then the rest of blue and the rest of red. Rajan and Cupid so far down the list in damage. This is like I said, the reason why they're losing this game is because Cupid and Raijin are not being able to pull off the damage they need. They're being zoned out by this Kumbhakarna. They're being zoned out by this Awilix, so they can't cast abilities as freely as they want to. Meanwhile, Hera is just doing immense amounts of damage. But in this team fight, though, it's a much different than what I was talking about. Cupid and Yomagadar gets up 2 kills on the Kronos and the Kuma and the Zhang Kui. Huge kills, but Wilkes is here to start cleaning up some stuff here. Yomagadar is now chasing after this, and Cupid secures the kill, and Hamat secures the kill on the Wilkes. Huge fight for Red. This is such a turnaround for Red. If I'm Red, I'm going for this Fire Giant. Reset, go for this Fire Giant, it's free. You could go for this tier 2, but you could also secure fire and get all the tier 2s. So this is a little bit greedy by Red. They could be already backing for Fire Giant and be at it by this point. By the time they get to this, they could start pulling it, but when they back, all of blue will be up, and they'll be contested on one of these tier 2 towers. Because they still have to remember, they are even at this point. They did make it even after that one team fight and getting that tier 2 tower. So the odds are in anyone's favor, even with this Fire Giant, because unfortunately they did not wait for the enhanced Fire Giant. 30 seconds off the enhanced timer, because it does spawn at 30 minutes. So really unfortunate that Red didn't actually wait for that enhanced Fire Giant. It gives you a much more significant buff in terms of power and HP 5. Definitely should have waited for that. Really unfortunate play from Red. It might even cost them on this siege. Blue team, like I said earlier in the game, have a notoriously good siege defense. Hera and Zhang Kui alone can just carry the siege by themselves. And then you have Awilix and Kronos to really clean up. You have Kumo to really zone away a lot of the carries. This is still in blue team's favor. This is where they shine. So let's see them do it. Excuse me, I need to get a drink of water. Refreshing. One thing I recommend if you're gonna cast is always have a drink of water. Looks like Red are going to siege down this tier 2 on right side. Blue not going to contest this. Really smart move from Blue. You should definitely only contest the last tier 2 tower or the Phoenix. The reason why I do say the last tier 2 is because it does take time for Red to siege these towers down. And the longer it takes, the longer that Fire Giant buff takes to dwindle down. So when they stall them on these sieges, they stall the Fire Giant timer. And it looks like Red Team's actually going to go for their Oni Fury. Really good call, because it allows them to pressure out these Phoenixes in this right side tier 2 tower, which pretty much out pressures Blue Team from being able to defend that tier 2. Now if I'm Red, I'm going to reset, spend my gold. Take a look at the builds here. Looks like Raijin did clean up his build a little bit. He did get the Ethereal Staff and the Divine, which should help him a lot on the damage. Now, if I'm him, I'm looking for a big damage item. You can get a Soul Reaver, get a Rod Tahuti. Staff of Mirrodin still available. A lot of options for Raijin here to pick up. 1100 gold in hand. It still has Mage's Buzzing. Really weird call not to sell that Mage's. That's at least 500 gold that you can have in your pocket, which leads you to a tier 2 item. You could have gotten a Doom Orb tier 2 straight from that, and that's literally like 90 power right there. It's a really strange call not to sell the Mage's Blessing. Mage's Blessing really falls off late game. It's really just only good for the early sustain and the cooldown once it evolves. Hera though doing a lot of damage. Doom Orb, Cronus Pendant, Soul Reaver. No Op Shard though from the Hera. Really strange considering that the Geb alone, I mean, if you just look at his protections, 152, which is honestly not a lot. But then if you look at Jormungandr, 218. So he's really tanky. This Hera is just tickling him at this point without an op shard. Flatpen not doing really well against that many protections. She definitely needs his op shard if she wants to do any sort of big damage against these tanks, which honestly are the big problem for blue right now, because this Jormungandr is just freely zoning away all of blue by himself because the damage is just not there. Blue team is in a really bad spot now. Right side Phoenix down, mid side Phoenix down. Now red's going to go for left side Phoenix. All Phoenixes are going to be down here. If all of these Phoenixes fall, this is going to be put red's team in a big spot because it lets them out pressure at any point they want. It looks like red's are actually trying to make a big play here, but unfortunately, Zhonghui and the Hera and the Wheelix just clean up no problem. Like I said, once that Argus comes down, the Zhonghui all comes out. It's GG for red. They can't do anything about it. Really strange that they waited that long, though. 2 Phoenixes already down, so this is still a win for red team. The one thing that blue's really been able to get all away with is just maybe 1 Phoenix, or maybe just 2 towers. We'll see once they start sieging. But unfortunately, only 2 members from blue are in mid, so they might not even be able to get this middle Phoenix, because there are fire minions in middle lane. Blue team doesn't have fire minions. Hunbats is going to do a decent job zoning away Hera and the Kumba, but Wilkes will be here to help try to take out this Phoenix. And actually, Hunbats does get the cleanup kill onto the Wheelix and the Hera, getting a double kill. So what a clutch play from the Hunbats. This is probably the best play you can ask for from this Hunbats, getting the 1v3 outplay to defend his own Phoenix. Huge stuff for red. This puts them back in the game because now they have all their Phoenixes alive. Blue team down 2 Phoenixes. All members from red coming alive once again. And Fire Giant, Enhanced Fire Giant is available. This is gonna be a free Fire Giant for them. This is honestly GG. Enhanced Fire Giant. All members of red are up to take it away, and blue can't do anything about it. Looks like they are going to go for the Pyromancer first. I am not a fan of this call. If you do want to back after you get the Fire Giant, you want to go Fire and then Pyro, because you're investing more time into the Pyromancer, which means you're delaying the Fire Giant. When you delay the Fire Giant, you delay for the other team, and that's never good. The faster you get this, the faster your siege will be. If anything, you could have just skipped Pyro. Yeah, so really strange call to get both objectives there. They wasted about 7 seconds getting that Pyromancer. That's 7 seconds they could have been on the left side already, pushing down this left lane. This allows blue team to really get comfortably in position to set up for any sort of potential anti-siege against red. Now all members of blue are alive. Really unfortunate by red. Looks like they're all going to be grouping on this left side. Everyone's a little bit spaced out, but it looks like everyone understands what they need to do. Everyone's grouping on this left side lane. This is the last lane they're trying to get. It also is one of the hardest lanes to get the Phoenix, because it is the dual lane side, which has the longest lane. And a big fight going on right now in this dual lane. Big damage going off right now. And it looks like Jormungandr is going to clean up the Wheelix. And then Nugs and Jugs clean up the Hera. But Rome able to free cast, doing so much damage. But Nugs and Jugs getting a double kill on the Zhonghui. Huge kill from Nugs and Jugs. And Cupid's able to clean up the kill on the Kronos. That's game. That's GG. Good job, red team. What a play from all 5 members. And now red team on this Titan, below 50% HP. Kumba, the only one left to really stop them. He can only do so much. Fireman is pouring in, and that's going to be game. Game goes to red team. What an amazing turnaround from red. Honestly, not what you would expect going into this game. They were down early. The first 15 minutes, you really thought they were going to lose post 25. But they really turned around on those defenses. Blue team just not doing a good job sieging. Unfortunate that a lot of the times that Wheelix was just being a little bit too aggressive. She got picked in a lot of key moments. She wasn't feeding in any sense of the word, but in a lot of those key fights, she died and was the first one to die, which is really unfortunate. Looks like Hera also being a big part of the reason why Blue Team failed in their attempts to really win that game. She got picked early because of her positioning in a lot of those fights, which really hurt the rest of Blue. They really need her to actually defend in those situations and kind of like lay down the CC and the damage for her team and a lot of the setup. Kumo's doing a really good job and CCing the enemy team, make sure those carries can do a good job of damaging his own. But unfortunately, the presence from the Hunbats was enough to really just zone away any sort of retaliation from Blue. Hunbat's doing a really good job, saved the game and more times than one. Jormungandr doing a good job zoning away those carries. Nugs and Jugs did have a little bit of a slow start. His build kind of hurt him a little bit in the early game. The Obsidian Shard wasn't the best choice, considering how early he built it with the relation to protections on the enemy team. So he wasn't doing the damage he really needed to do. Spear of Magus or even a Spear of Desta would have been a much better pickup for him in that spot. But nonetheless, he turned it around. He fixed up his build a little bit, and when he finally came online, his team was able to really just take the win. So good job from Red Team. Really great game. And unfortunate that Wheelix didn't have as many wards as the rest of her team. Wards win games, no matter how well you're doing. Wards. Any sort of vision helps with rotations. Any sort of vision helps with what the decision that the team needs to be doing. If there's two people on left there calling a ward, then that's a free gold for you. That could be a free fire giant. So really unfortunate that she didn't ward as much as she could have. She did do well in those team fights. She got a lot of clean kills. She even got a quadra kill, an unofficial quadra kill at some point. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. Quite unfortunate.